Welcome back, everybody. This is your three-man booth. We are approaching the midway point of the season. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. Guys, I don't know.
We had a nice non-PG rated podcast last night, so that's going to be interesting for everyone.
Oh, that's fun. We can swear here too if we really want to.
I dropped the F-bomb like 2 or 3 times. Phil's not editing it out. I was really, really mad. Really mad.
Yeah, we'll get into the. Well, let's wait like 5 minutes to talk about how terrible our two teams played, because we always like to say when there's smoke, there's fire, and ESPN keeps pushing these Tom Brady, Bill Belichick riff articles the last day and a half since they blew out the Jets. I got my own opinions, but you absolutely hate Tom Brady. You absolutely wanted to write an article just saying F you. So why don't you give us your thoughts?
I can't see him playing for any other team other than the Patriots. I mean, he's 42 years old. You know, here's the glorious thing. If he were to leave, right?
Yeah.
And suck. Okay? Let's just say that he left and he sucked. I mean, would it tarnish his whole image? Like he's won 6 Super Bowls, he's been to 9. He's probably going to win 7 the way that their defense is playing. Their offense is not playing great, but their defense, have we in our lifetimes seen a defense this good? Now, to Phil's point, they haven't played that many great teams. However, they've been completely dominant of these bad teams.
Well, they're scoring a lot of points and causing a lot of turnovers. I think that was it the 2009 Ravens, the only one I can think of that came close. I think that was the year.
The 85 Bears. I mean, you know, are we talking about the 85 Bears or the Purple People Eaters from the 70s? I mean, it is a.
Well, that's why I said Ray Lewis's Ravens are the only ones I can actually remember watching that were just absolutely dominant, and they won with a BS quarterback that year because they were so good. So I think Trent Dilfer maybe.
Trent Dilfer, that's 2001. Didn't they beat the Giants, Phil?
Yeah, that was the bad guy in Super Bowl.
2000 maybe.
2001, 2000. It was 2000, I think it was.
Okay, they were just unbelievable, and the Patriots.
That's the Super Bowl we forget about.
Yeah, well, I haven't watched the Patriots play a lot this season, and I could barely stomach to watch them beat up on the Jets because it was just atrocious. But their defense is unbelievable. And I would say that they only had one good offensive series, which was the first series of the game where they just had every play, like, we're going to go do these plays in order, and they were just perfectly lined up. And they just, after that, they had to, like, pull from the hat, and it wasn't quite as impressive. But
after that, they had great field position because Sam was constantly throwing the ball.
Yeah. But so for Tom Brady to leave, I mean, Montana left, and he didn't look great.
Montana got traded.
Oh, did he get traded? Okay. I mean, Favre left, and he had some good half seasons until A's kicked him up.
I have to be naive here. So where did this article come from? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
So Stephen A. Smith has a video all over ESPN saying Brady wants out. Brady's done with the Patriots. And so they have a couple articles, too, where basically they're talking about his contract. And it's up at the end of the season. There are option years for the next 2 years, but it's up at the end of the season, so they either have to renegotiate a new deal with him or he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And the Patriots don't let players become free agents unless they are letting them go. So
Schefter said after the Monday night game that basically the same thing. Like, he's put his house up for sale. They haven't re-signed him to a contract. Like, maybe this is the end.
Well, and if they win the Super Bowl, maybe he will go out on top. He's already opened a new business in the Boston area, sports medicine or something. Like, that was the.
Yeah, I think Bud's a new member of the TB12 method. I think he's a new subscriber.
I beat a doctor today. Said you should go see Tom Brady.
I mean, it's working for him. I guess my feeling is if you have an opportunity to go out on top, you should take it. And he's been this will be, if they make the Super Bowl again this year, which seems likely, this will be 4 and 5 years, right? 3 in a row, 4 and 5. Like, there's no better way to end your career. I forget if they won last season just because I try to block these things out of my memory, but I think they did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if he becomes a free agent, which, whatever, I guess it could happen. I guess there's going to be a bunch of teams that would line up to sign him, but why at that point? Why would you want to start fresh? Like, if this is all true, from his perspective, what's the point of going to a new team to learn a whole new system, start fresh with a bunch of new players at 43?
Well, I completely agree. I mean, I don't think that anybody's better at coaching him than Josh McDaniels right now. And maybe so there's two things. Either he's seriously considering retiring if they win another Super Bowl, or this is a little push for him to say, come on, give me my new deal. I want 3 more years because he wants to play to 45. I don't know. There's something to this. He tried to play off the dig at Kraft when he was in a Netflix special coming out of a day spa. I mean, of course that's a dig at Kraft. So
like he can't throw the ball more than 25, 30 yards on the field anymore. You just can't. Like that one throw that he made to Dorsett was a great throw, but that was a 26-yard throw. Like everything else is within 5 yards.
Oh, most of them were within 2 yards.
He takes 2 steps and then he just chucks it out to the right or the left.
Well,
Give me a break.
The offense couldn't be more well designed for him at his age because, like you said, he doesn't hold the ball long enough for him to even get pressure. And then he throws the little short pass, and then they have players at wide receiver that are fast and can get yards after the catch. If they didn't, then they wouldn't go anywhere. So it's just like the perfect puzzle, and it's frustrating.
He had all day to throw, Dan.
Yeah, well, they have great offensive line.
How long did it take you to turn the TV off? Did you sit through the whole game, or did you not make it through the whole thing?
Oh, so me? So
yeah. I know Bud's answer already.
I started a little late, so I was able to fast forward through the commercials. And then once it was 20-0, I started fast forwarding through the Jets when they were playing defense to only see if they did anything on offense. And so then they didn't do anything on offense. So I paused at halftime because I had caught up and then I was able to fast forward through halftime. And then I was fast forwarding through the third quarter to see if the score would change, and then it didn't, and I shut it off. So because
you didn't make it, huh?
No. Well, let me make one more point, then you guys can talk. So this Jets season, they've played 6 games, and 2 games have been worth watching. And I was able to tell within the first 2 series of each game that they were going to be good. And every other game I could tell within the first 2 series that this was going to be awful, and I wasn't going to watch the rest of it. The Dallas game and the Bills game, you could tell the Jets were going to be really, really good in those games or competitive. And like they only lost by Buffalo by 1 point. So they probably should have won. Every other game, you could tell at the very beginning, this was going to be awful and a train wreck. And there's no adjustments made. So it was very obvious at the very start of this game it was going to be.
Well, that's what I said to Bud yesterday. I said that exact same thing. It looks like Gase never makes an adjustment after the first quarter, after halftime. They stick to their game plan, and they don't waver from it at all. It's like they don't make an adjustment ever.
He's awful.
Well, that was my main gripe with Todd Bowles is that he didn't make halftime adjustments, or if he did, I couldn't tell, and they sucked. I can't imagine why you would not make an adjustment.
I said yesterday in the podcast that like Sam didn't play great. He but you know what? There's been a lot of great quarterbacks in this league that have had bad games like that, right? So let's not point the finger and say that this guy's a bust.
No. That was probably the worst game of his career. 5
games. Brett Favre came out today and said, "Listen, I've thrown 4 or 5 interception games, and I see potential in Sam, and I think that he's going to be a really good quarterback." And that's great. Like my biggest fear at this point is that you hired a coach that can help build his momentum and build his confidence, so that he can become this franchise quarterback. And you've done nothing. In my eyes, all you've done is create an atmosphere and a culture of continued losing, putting everybody in bad positions, and this coach is going to make him not be a good quarterback. And that's my biggest fear.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Because Darnold's been in 3 games, and 2 of them were really good. And he got sick in the second half of the first one. So I like what Gase is done with the offense to play to Darnold's strengths. I mean, he was a deer in the headlights against the Patriots, and he just hucked the ball up. I've never seen him do that in his entire career, and he did it, and he threw 4 picks. I just think he felt like he had no time to throw. Their center went out injured. They were down another lineman who's getting shoulder surgery and in a disagreement with the team. So their offensive line is just deteriorated in front of them.
Bud said yesterday that it's the worst offensive line he's seen in a very long time. That worse than the Giants won a couple years ago.
Well, and the Patriots have the best defense in the league, maybe in this decade, and so it's not surprising that it played out that way.
But even like there were legitimate guys just running past them, like completely unblocked, like not even touched, nothing. I don't think they have a good offensive line coach, and like you said, I don't think Gase is making offensive adjustments. The defense made adjustments. They gave up 1 touchdown in the second half, and they slowed the Patriots down. Now we're not high on the Patriots offense, but I like what Greg Williams is doing personally. He's aggressive, and that can bite you sometimes, and the Patriots took advantage of it. But I don't know what Gase in this offense is. I just don't know. I'm not sure he's going to get another year if this doesn't turn around quick. Now they have an opportunity, but I mean they should beat Jacksonville if they play like they did against Dallas, and that'll help. But this is New York, and the sports world is based in New York, and they just tear this team apart any chance they get. Like even more than the Giants, they give Daniel Jones a bone, but they're not giving the Jets one. So yeah, but you know what? I mean, Daniel Jones is a rookie quarterback, right? Well,
Darnold missed half of last season, so I mean, we don't think about it like that. But is he still in his rookie gear? Technically, he hasn't played.
No, he's played 16 full. I think, Bud, what'd you say? Yesterday was his 16th full game?
Monday was his 16th full
so
game.
So that was the end of his rookie year, technically. I don't know. It's semantics, right? I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I agree. I agree. Jones doesn't have an off season of preparation to get better. I would argue that the Jets off season didn't help Darnold this year, but
well, I think a little. There's a difference between those two at the moment is that nobody expected the Giants to win a lot of games. There was a lot of hype and a lot of expectations for the Jets this year coming into the season.
Well, I assess a quarterback in their rookie and their sophomore years based on the decision making. So like I look at Baker Mayfield, who has thrown a ton of interceptions this year, and I say you didn't improve from year 1 to year 2. You markedly got worse. Daniel Jones, sure, it's his first year, he can make these mistakes, but he's got to get better next year.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yes, he does.
Because he's making a lot of mistakes, and they're rookie mistakes. But
I don't know where this team goes.
All right. So we know the back half of their schedule is quote unquote relatively easy.
It's the easiest in the league, Phil. It's the
easiest in the league. But are you feeling confident after what we saw Monday that every one of those games is going to be a win, or is it like, wow, there's a lot of these games maybe they'll stub their toe and lose games?
I don't think they beat Jacksonville. I don't think they beat the Giants. I think Miami is suspect. I mean, Miami has played much better the last 2 weeks. They're going to get smoked by Baltimore. I mean, maybe they'll beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati looks like a dumpster fire. But they still got to play the Bills another time. I mean, the Bills look great.
Well, so here's the thing. I argued with my brother in our Spin Zone article whether the Bills would be looking quite so great if they had the Jets schedule. Because the Bills haven't played anybody good. They beat one decent team and a bunch of crappy teams. And they almost lost.
Their only loss was to New England, and they should have won.
Well, that was their best game. But they almost lost to Miami. They almost lost to the Jets. And I think they beat Tennessee and Cincinnati.
And the Giants, too.
Oh, and the Giants with Eli Manning.
Yes. But like I always say, Phil, you got to play the teams that are on your schedule. And right now, they are a 6-1 football team.
I 100% agree with you. They don't scare me like they did before the Miami game because there is no way a good football team lets that happen.
And you can also make the case there really aren't any dominant NFL teams this year. There's no like obvious pick like, all right, we know who's going to win the Super Bowl. We have no idea who's going to the Super Bowl right now.
And I agree because I'm not on San Francisco's bandwagon. The easy schedule they've had, they beat the Rams, who are not as good as we thought. Everyone else has been an easy win too for them.
Did you see any of that game
this week?
Yeah, so they're going to have a real test against the Eagles. Yeah, I was watching Red Zone, so I was. So it only popped up once or twice because there wasn't a lot of scoring in that game.
Well, that's true too. But they made a point to go to it as all the Niners games were basically having a slip and slide party in FedEx Field there.
Yeah, no, I mean I excuse that close game to Washington, but they haven't beaten anybody truly impressive yet. So I mean I need to see them do a little bit more. I don't think many teams would have beaten the Patriots having had to play them twice in the first month. So
at least you don't have to play them again for the rest of the year. Like, you got that feather in your cap.
My personal feeling is the jury's out on the Jets because we've seen them be good and we've seen them be really bad. They need some consistency, and they've had none. And I feel like it's the same way with the Giants, if I can use that to transition. They've been inconsistent as well, even within games. Like the Jets have been consistent within their football games. They're either really bad or pretty damn fun. But
I'll tell you what they're consistent with right now, and it's inconsistent play calling and awful play calling because there's a lot of questionable. The last 3 games, I said this yesterday, I can literally pick out a handful of calls in every single game where I can guess exactly what play is going to be run, and I've been right all 3 times. So if I know it and you guys know it, the defense sure as hell knows what play is coming. It's just there's no it's like it's obvious what they're going to do. And we go to the sequence, and that's the big, all the quotes came from the last 2 sequences or last 2 drives of the game against Arizona. Pat Shurmur basically said, I was never thinking of punting the ball. I was always going to go for on 4th down.
So that's a big problem for him as a coach.
It's a huge problem.
Because
I applaud the balls for going for it on 4th and 13 in your own end zone, essentially.
Phil Frost. So I'll make my point real quick. So I subscribe to the philosophy of telegraphing the first series of the game. I love that you know the first 15 plays you want to run, and ideally you get to run all of them on your first drive. It really sets a tone, and if you've designed them right, they'll just absolutely annihilate a defense with it. I also like the idea of wanting to go for it on 4th down, but you shouldn't know until you get there. You can't know on 3rd that you're –
But I think what Phil was trying to say is that they ran a draw play on 3rd and 20.
Yeah.
And then the coach comes out and says, well, I like my chances on 4th and 15. Like, you're on your own 30-yard line. At this point, it's a field possession game, right?
Yeah.
If you punt the ball and you kick it and you hold them, which they did, you're going to end up with better field position.
Yeah, I absolutely. And I don't know why, like, you got Saquon Barkley, right? Why don't you run a screen pass? Why don't you run, like, a sweep? Why don't you, anything except for a draw, which is not going to catch a good defense off guard in that situation.
But he's borderline not even a factor in the offense right now. And I don't know if it's because of his ankle. But listen, the offensive line played like garbage too. I mean, he got 8 or 9 times.
Well, that's the difference between a good team and a bad team in the NFL this year is really offensive line, and that's what's holding a lot of.
And not to harp on the rookie thing, but he stands there like a statue and waits for somebody to get open, like he's playing Madden or something like that. It's the NFL. Like, you got to get rid of the ball.
Right. And I'll be honest, we how many rookies have we watched come through the Jets organization? A lot, right? The reason I still am really a big Darnold supporter is because he moves in the pocket and he doesn't do what Jones is doing.
He did it on Monday. And he had – and listen, yes, you're right, but he had opportunities to create a little bit more space. He could have stepped up in the pocket here. But the thing was, like, the defensive line was on him within a second or two. Like, there's no way to make a decision that quickly.
Do we know when he hurt his toe? Because he got a toenail removed the next day. Do you know when he injured it?
Darnold?
Yeah, Darnold did.
That's a real man. That's got to hurt.
Well, that's what I mean. So I don't know how much of the game he was playing with that either. But
I don't know.
But so Phil, we were saying how Jones just stands in the pocket like a statue and Darnold moves around. That's something you can work on. But
yeah, my producer told me I didn't have enough battery in my phone, so I had to go run and get a charger. But anyway, yes, that's one of the things I completely agree that Jones has to work on. He holds the ball a little too long, and the two fumbles that when he got blindsided, they were sort of on him because he held the ball too long. But the offensive line is not blocking. I mean, Jones got sacked 8 times. The Arizona Cardinals had 4 sacks going into that game for the entire season. They sacked him 8 times on Sunday. It's awful. You can't do that. So 2 fumbles and an interception led to 17 points off of turnovers. If you clean those up, that's the game right there. That's the win.
So if we make that same comment about the Jets game, that's the game right there.
Well, all right. But you said, well, I mean, you've said it a bunch of weeks now. Turnovers is something you can clean up. That's something you actually can work on and get better at. If you can't throw the ball down the field, you can't throw the ball down the field. Turnovers is something at least you can work on.
Right. Well, and like a player like Jameis Winston, if he actually improved in that area, would be great, but he hasn't. But Daniel Jones, with time, can work on that with the right coach.
I mean, he has to. His turnover to touchdown to turnover ratio is not good right now.
No, and most quarterbacks have bad ones their rookie year. I mean, Manning's was terrible. And he's all-time great.
I've been hearing. Yeah. Well, did you mean Peyton Manning or Eli Manning?
Oh, I meant Peyton, but probably both of them. But
yeah, no, but it's true because the speed of the game in the NFL is nothing compared to what they were in college. They're so used to the college speed. Then you get to the NFL, and everybody is 275 and jacked beyond belief.
So I got to ask you, why was there noise about potentially going back to Eli Manning after that loss? Why are they asking him that question? That's so mean.
Because they're trying to draw up a story. That's all that is.
There's no way at this point.
You can't.
They're not going back. No, you can't. It's just to make a headline. It's called clickbait. That's all that it is. It's clickbait.
We don't get this from other markets. It's like so prevalent in the New York market, and then obviously because ESPN's right outside of New York, it's like all over ESPN. It's really annoying because it's such a BS story.
It is.
What do you think of this whole ESPN broadcasting the whole ghost comment?
So that wasn't meant was that just like a between two players type of deal? I don't quite understand.
Well, he was mic'd up and he went to the sideline and told his offensive coordinator or somebody, I don't know who it was, that he's seeing ghosts out there. Now, I guess what people are saying is that normally they don't broadcast those things because they don't want the player to look like they don't know what they're doing. But in this particular case, they broadcasted it, and now the Jets are pissed. And
so here's the deal. So from a production standpoint, there's either two ways this agreement goes. When you get mic'd up, no matter what you say can be aired, and that's what you signed your release, and that's what the team agreed to, or it's only what's said on the field. And when you step off the field, you're not supposed to. Then it's like they cut it, and you can't say what you said off the field.
Never in the history of a player being mic'd up have you heard anything remotely interesting. Usually it's good job. It's the most boring and pointless thing in the world. Yesterday was the only time, or Monday night was the only time you actually got something of substance. You never hear anybody swear, do you? No, because they don't air that stuff. You don't think any of those guys are cussing on the field? Of course they are, but you're never going to hear it on TV.
You don't think any of them are saying stuff like that to their offensive coordinator on the sideline?
They might. Who knows? But I think Aaron Rodgers was a guest on one of the shows, on one of the ESPN. I don't know if it was ESPN or Sirius, but he's like, I've never been mic'd up and I decline it every single time. So they actually have the option to decline them.
Well, that's what I see. So he agreed to it, but you wonder what he thought he was agreeing to, or if he just forgot that he was on a microphone.
I don't know. Maybe somebody whoever was working on that and the person that puts it on air must have been a anti-Jet fan or something like that, because that's inexcusable.
Well, ESPN.
It's such a stupid comment. It got blown up. Don't get me wrong. It got blown up, but it's a nothing comment. It really is a nothing comment.
ESPN is anti-Jets, and it's frustrating. Like, at least Rich Cimini is a little bit supportive, and he's actually backing the team this week, being like, this is all getting blown out of proportion, and the the negativity, but ESPN's anti-Jets, and it's really ridiculous.
I don't know about you guys, but I love listening to Mike Greenberg after Jets games.
I can't listen to him anymore.
Because you know what it is, like he's a very professional, person who is trying to talk sports, and he tries not to be biased. But for whatever reason, you get him fired up on the Jets, and he becomes like us, and he gets fired up, and he yells and screams.
He's like you in a suit.
Weeks ago, his producer told him to stop, and he said, "I'm not stopping. I'm going."
I gotta find that clip because I didn't even think about watching that on Monday. I gotta find that clip now.
What, on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Greenberg was calling for them to fire Gase, and I'm like, come on, shut your mouth. Like,
wait, whoa, you don't think that Adam Gase is going to get fired this year?
I think the schedule is easy enough for him to get 6 wins, and no. There's 5 wins on the rest of the schedule. There's easy 5 wins.
If they lose to Miami in 2 weeks, he's out.
Oh, that is, I 100% agree with that, but I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either, but
if they come out next week against Jacksonville and they look completely uncompetitive again, I mean, at what point do we say to ourselves, this is not a player problem. This is because there's talent on this football team. This is a preparation and coaching problem. We got
a couple more minutes because I got to wrap up here tonight. But I don't disagree with you. I don't expect that to happen. I'd be shocked if that happens. If it does, give Greg Williams the team. Look what he did in Cleveland last year midseason. I'm okay with that, but I don't know. I don't expect it to happen. Do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
this is the same guy that predicted the Jets were going to beat the Patriots on Monday night. I respectfully held my tongue over that because I'm not sure why you thought that.
But that's fine. I mean, but at the same point, there's losing, and then there's like completely. Listen, it was bad enough that entire stadium was basically like Gillette Stadium.
Yeah,
okay? That's bad in itself. But you were unprepared to play football. If they came out and they lost 24-17 or 24-20 or whatever, it's a different story. You were competitive. You played. You tried your hardest. Nothing about that game showcased to me that they were even ready to go for football.
So you're riding the roller coaster, and I respect that. I'm looking at the season for standing on this, watching somebody else ride the roller coaster. So I see this season as 3 games so far, the 3 that Darnold played, and one of them was awful, and I'm willing to just toss it aside as that's an anomaly right now. One of his 3 games was an anomaly of epic proportions that won't go away until they play well on Sunday. But I would be very surprised if they don't beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not a good team right now. They are reeling. Minshew is getting worse every week, and they haven't beaten anybody good. If the Jets' defense is as good as they looked against Dallas, the Jaguars are going to stink. So I'm not sure. We'll see.
I think the thing is, if the Jets play well on Sunday, last week, you won't even really remember it.
Well,
and that's the goal. That's the goal. Well, no, I mean you'll remember it, but it won't be like. So I asked Glenn yesterday. I go, is the game we saw on Monday on par of the butt fumble game in history, in the annals of history of Jets history?
No.
I wanted to present that to you too. I was just curious.
Well, so if there's actually good video to go along with the I'm seeing ghosts clip, or if they run that audio over him hucking the ball up like that to an interception, maybe, but it's not interesting. The butt fumble is like so unique and so ridiculous. You can't top it. That's all time great. So,
it ruined Thanksgiving.
It ruined my Thanksgiving too. I was watching with my family and they're all Patriots fans. It was just the worst. The worst. I'll never live it. I didn't live it down until the next year.
It's awful.
It was the last time I watched Jets Patriots with them. I think that was the last time I went to Thanksgiving with them too. Oh, yeah. My wife's family is all Patriots fans because they're all from Boston. So no, we don't talk football anymore.
Really?
Probably better that way.
Any final thoughts on the league at large? It's kind of like haves and have-nots, but
Packers look great,
yeah, they do.
which is surprising.
Well, we kind of thought. I mean, I looked at them as a potential worst to first because they were technically in last season, but
And the Bears need a quarterback.
yes. So you're already out on Trubisky? You're done with him?
He
I think most people are.
Yeah.
Unless he's more injured than what they're getting, what they're saying, he does not look good.
No, this is his third season, right? Yeah. It's. I'm not surprised. I wasn't particularly high on him last year, but the Bears were really good, so people gave him credit for nothing. What about the Giants, Phil? What do you look for them? Like, I'm not expecting Jones to stop turning the ball over, but they need some more wins here.
I'm looking for him to stop turning the ball over. I'll tell you that. I'm looking for him That's exactly what I want to see out of him. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be an up and down season, I think. You're going to have good games. You're going to have bad games. And good luck trying to pick out which one is which. That's how I feel this season's going to go.
Well, the Jets and the Giants play each other in 2 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. It's going to be an evenly matched football game. They're both in about the exact same place right now.
Listen, I hope it's evenly matched. I don't either way. I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see like when we saw it 4 years ago. It went to overtime. I mean, you couldn't ask for better drama than that.
Yeah.
It's a blowout. We're going home.
No, is the trade deadline next week before our show or after our show? Do you know?
I think it's Thursday. I thought it was Thursday of next week. I could be wrong.
Because Leonard Williams is a real big trade candidate for the Jets. We've seen a lot of trades go down the last couple of days here that were surprising. I don't want them to trade him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got moved. I'm not sure if we'll see that or not.
If you can get a second-round pick for him, you move him.
Yeah, I agree. Because I don't think they pay him the money that he wants.
We'll take him. We need defensive help. We'll take him.
Get rid of Robbie Anderson, too.
Did that work out for you the last time you got the Jets cast-offs? No.
Not really.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson got talent, but I don't know.
He gave up on a play on Monday, too.
He gives up all the time. I hate it.
I mean, he had the cornerback beat, and then he just stopped running, and then all of a sudden he realized the ball's in the air coming to him, and then he gives up.
No, that Darnold overthrew him on that one.
No, but he gives up when they're losing in the first half. He gives up easy. When he doesn't get looks, they don't throw him the ball. He gives up. Like,
were you talking about the one where he overthrew, where Darnold overthrew Robbie Anderson, or no?
Yeah, it was like in the third quarter or something like that.
I thought it was in the first, but that game was a blur.
He overthrew everybody except for a Patriot in the first quarter.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't like his attitude, but he's got speed. So I don't know if he'll make it. He'll make it somewhere else. They probably release him. They probably don't re-sign him either. All right. Well, we'll end on that sour note for this week. We keep saying we got
better days are coming. Better days are coming.
Yes. And basketball is back. The Clippers won their tip-off. I thought that was fun.
Who's the score of the Knicks game right now, Phil?
They're playing in San Antonio, so they haven't started. I'm actually going to try and look it up right now.
Oh.
But as I told Bud today, the Knicks season starts today. It'll be over by tomorrow.
Yes, I was going to say we'll ask you once and then never again, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Ask me next week.
Until then.
All right.
Later.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.